Welcome to New Sky TV. A cult ruling has torn away the most hypocritical veil of cyberbullying. When the news that a hater was ordered by the court to publicly apologize and pay 16,000 yuan in compensation for emotional distress went viral, public opinion did not overwhelmingly applaud as expected. Instead, it sparked an absurd moral trial. Some even stood up to point fingers. Xiao Zhan is so rich, why bother with such a small amount of compensation? Isn't taking 16,000 yuan too stingy? These statements, seemingly advising magnanimity, are in fact blatant moral blackmail. But the truth is, this 16,000 yuan is never about the money. This is a belated but necessary counterattack, a direct response to the black market industry that has long entrenched itself in the corners of the internet, wantonly spreading rumors and arbitrarily harming others. Xiao Zhan chose to take legal action not to get some money back, but to tell everyone in the clearest and most rational way, fame is not a sin, and wealth is not a reason to condone infringement. Looking back at the entire incident, the so-called anti-fans didn't just lose control of their emotions on a whim, they had been consistently and persistently posting insulting and defamatory remarks, causing substantial damage to Xiao Zhan's reputation. Such behavior would constitute an infringement on the rights of any ordinary person, let alone a public figure who is constantly exposed to the public eye and whose words have had their influence amplified. Legal intervention is perfectly reasonable. However, when it comes to celebrities, the logic is twisted. You're a public figure, you should endure it. You earn a lot, what's wrong with being criticized a few times? You're already so successful, why bother taking it so seriously? These statements, seemingly from a moral high ground, are actually a disguised excuse for infringement. If wealth necessitates enduring harm, then where does the fairness of the law come from if someone automatically loses their right to respect and protection simply because they are successful or earn a lot? Then this is inherently a dangerous value system. Ironically, those who shout drop the claim and leave some leeway for others rarely ask, did the perpetrator leave any leeway when they hurt others? When malice is tolerated, when spreading rumors costs nothing, when a simple "you're so rich" can erase all harm, what is truly eroded is not just a single celebrity, but the bottom line of the entire online environment. Xiao Zhan's choice to uphold the judgment is precisely drawing a line for this bottom line. The 16,000 yuan in compensation for emotional distress is more like a symbolic marker, telling everyone that there are boundaries to speech, and the internet is not a lawless zone. You may dislike something, but you have no right to harm it. You can question a work, but you cannot trample on its dignity. Today, Xiao Zhan stands up and responds to malice with the law. Tomorrow, perhaps many more ordinary people will benefit from this. This is not making a mountain out of a molehill, but a necessary demonstration. Because only when infringement truly comes at a price will online civilization not become empty talk. Therefore, instead of advising victims to be magnanimous, we should ask ourselves, are we pursuing goodwill or condoning malice? It is reported that after Xiao Zhan applied for enforcement against his anti-fans and ultimately received 16,000 yuan in compensation for mental distress, the public opinion was quite clear. The vast majority of people stood firmly on Xiao Zhan's side, believing it to be a reasonable, legitimate, and exemplary rights protection action. However, even amidst this consensus, some still jumped out to voice so-called dissent, advising Xiao Zhan to let it go and be more magnanimous. Their reasons were nothing new. You're a wealthy man with strong earning power, this amount of money is insignificant to you, so why bother? At first glance, it seems to be about broad-mindedness, but upon closer inspection, it's all logical traps. Using the victim's success as a reason to relinquish rights is itself the most typical and insidious form of moral blackmail. If being rich means having to endure malice, and being famous is equivalent to automatically giving up dignity, then what is the point of the law? Does right only belong to the weak, while the strong can only silently endure harm? For this reason, such remarks immediately met with strong opposition from netizens. Many people have pointed out incisively, if you advise Xiao Zhan to give up his claim today, tomorrow his haters will be even more emboldened. If you think 16,000 yuan is insignificant today, tomorrow ordinary netizens may be the ones being harmed. Protecting one's rights is not about venting emotions, but about establishing rules for the public sphere. More importantly, this is not the first time Xiao Zhan has used legal means to fight back against cyberbullying. Previous cases have clearly shown that, regardless of whether it's disguised as a passerby, commenting, or making a meme, as long as the red line of insult and defamation is crossed, there will ultimately be consequences. apologies, compensation, and bearing legal responsibility. This process has been repeatedly played out, clearly laid out before everyone. So the question arises, can't the hater see these real-life examples? Or are they hoping to get away with it, gambling that celebrities find it troublesome or that public figures have to consider their image? Xiao Zhan's repeated choices to persist precisely shatter this kind of wishful thinking. This 16,000 yuan is not the end, but a clear warning. The internet is not a dumping ground for malice, and fame is not a license to be violated. Whoever crosses the line should be held accountable for their words and actions. Everyone expressed that compensation should be sought where appropriate, and an apology should be made where necessary. Whether it's 16,000 yuan or a public apology letter, neither should be omitted, and neither step should be conceded. Protecting one's rights is never a mere formality, nor a show of it, but must be taken seriously and carried out diligently. Just because the other party is a celebrity doesn't mean the victim should back down. Looking at the entire entertainment industry, Xiao Zhan is precisely one of the representatives with the clearest and firmest stance on protecting rights. Over the years, he has never tolerated malice taking root, but has repeatedly chosen to respond to cyberbullying through legal means. One after another, many anti-fans have paid a real and clear price for their words and actions, public apologies, financial compensation, and criminal records. These are not legends, but verifiable precedents in black and white. Did that anti-fan who was executed really not see these lessons from the past? Choosing to cross the legal line inevitably means bearing the consequences. This is a basic understanding that adults should have. Therefore, many netizens have expressed a clear stance, supporting Xiao Zhan's continued efforts to protect his rights and wishing him continued protection by law and reason. This persistence is not only about seeking justice for himself, but also a wake-up call for the entire online environment. Malice is not an emotion, and harm is not a joke. At the same time, it is hoped that some people will stop their so-called moral high ground persuasion. Xiao Zhan's investment and contributions to public welfare over the years are evident to all and no longer need criticism. However, protecting one's rights is another bottom line that must be taken seriously and cannot be confused with this. Public welfare is goodwill, and protecting rights is a right. The two are never in conflict. From a longer-term perspective, the significance of Xiao Zhan's persistence in protecting his rights has long transcended the personal level. Only when more and more infringers are held accountable will a consensus gradually form in cyberspace that one should not arbitrarily harm others. This is not suppressing freedom of speech, but rather allowing expression to return to rationality and ensuring that criticism is based on facts and respect. For fans, supporting Xiao Zhan's rights protection isn't blindly defending him, but rather a clear understanding that true liking means wanting your idol to live in a healthier, more boundary-bound environment. For ordinary netizens, these precedents also provide protection. Today the law can stand up for Xiao Zhan, and tomorrow it can stand up for anyone harmed by cyberbullying. Therefore, instead of continuing to debate whether 16,000 yuan is worth it, it's better to remember the signal this incident sends. Once rules are respected, malice will be curbed. This is the most important and worthy value behind Xiao Zhan's rights protection efforts. Finally, we advise those anti-fans who still harbor illusions, stop now and stop testing the limits of the law. Otherwise, the outcome will be exactly the same. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next video. Thank you.